the deck is so sensitive on having both color manas early on in the game. The power level of the deck is through the roof, but it loses so much to just its mana base of 8 plains, 8 islands, and 4 dual lands. Flooded Strand represents a huge upgrade for that deck's mana.
We are underway here. Laguna Bond Trailblazers, how we're going to start round number 7.
This card is so good against aggressive decks.
Yeah.
And kind of nonsense against mid-range or control decks. But you still just need to have your critical mass of creatures that you can target.
Now that's a little bit better. That's a Hero of Iris. And that is a pretty powerful card in this deck.
This is one of the big payouts for building a heroic strategy. Just everything's cheap and efficient. And it's a normal body on its own, too.
Let's see what Yen comes up with here. It's a Springleaf Drum. That's a Mana Confluence. 1 damage will be dealt.
And Springleaf Drum has historically been the indication that your opponent is up to no good.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree. A Crone Crusader allows a Monster Swiftspear to come in. So a pretty explosive second turn there. There's a Stratus Walk. That's going to come in. That's going to draw a card.
Just no hesitation identifying the Stratus Walk.
Oh, come on now. Come on, I look at Magic cards all day. Costs 1 less, too, by the way.
Discounted.
Yep. And it's a battlefield draw card. Enchanted creature has flying. And now, a Defiant Strike.
Oh.
Hey, let's go. Building a monster. Feels like Theros Limited all over again. Hero of Iroas is getting very large very quickly, and it's flying. Ivan will draw a card. He knows he's under the gun now.
I mean, Ivan could just untap and kill him, so we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, that's definitely something that can happen. There's Jessai Ascendancy. If I was Ian, I wouldn't be feeling great now.
Yep.
Because what next turn brings is anybody's guess.
He wasn't just screwing around with 1/1s and 1/2s. There's a purpose to all of this.
There's a Mystic Monastery before passing the turn back. Schneider's going to untap and draw a card here. Fabled Hero was his draw step.
I feel like Ivan's got to get the kill now.
Here's an attack. Some more damage coming across. Mana Confluence. There's another Trailblazer. And sacrifices Flooded Strand, search up the plains. There you see the creature stealing all the damage there. And Aura spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and the heroic +1/+1 counter when you target the hero. And there's a Fabled Hero. So the ground is gummed up.
But Ivan's list, unlike Glenn Jones's list, playing 4 copies of God's Willing. So if he goes off, it's no problem for him to punch through a bunch of blockers that are all 1 color.
Well, it might be time for fireworks. We're going to find out on this turn, I have a feeling. That is a Defiant Strike. That's going to target the Crone Crusader. Of course, you're going to have triggers on the stack here from Jessai Ascendancy.
So I believe in response to this, Ivan is supposed to just make a mana with Springleaf Drum, but I guess it doesn't matter. He gets some opportunity to do that down the line.
I believe that is the case. But with the way all these triggers happen, we'll see exactly what's going to occur. Seems as though he does know his deck pretty well.
So he gets to untap all of his creatures, give all of his things +1/+1, trigger a prowess, draw and discard, and then resolve Defiant Strike. And there's probably something else I'm forgetting.
Yeah, medium turn.
And this is where it starts.
Yeah.
There's work left to be done.
Here's the Ascendancy. Yep, so you see all this stuff taking place with the stack. Draw from the Defiant Strike, I believe. And you see he's going to leave the Defiant Strike there on the Crone Crusader so you know exactly how large it is. So there's another Defiant Strike. So now we get to do this song and dance again.
Yeah, Glenn was not able to track this way because Glenn was playing with Treasure Cruises, so he needs to have his graveyard correct, but Ivan here not using his graveyard for anything.
Hope you know you're a manipulation of the stack. That's for sure. Tell of Triumph going to be discarded here. And now. Don't forget these soldier tokens have haste too, by the way.
Yep.
Now it's time to draw a card from Defiant Strike. So that piece of the puzzle has resolved. Can he keep going? Now, to note, he has not added mana with Springleaf Drum yet.
And he needs to do that before he runs out of spells to play.
Yeah, I've been a little bit surprised by that because it's just a freebie.
It's better than a freebie.
Yeah.
Well, now it's better than a freebie.
Yeah, now it's way better than a freebie. So that's going to trigger all this stuff again. So that's going to grow. No heroic trigger. However, there is an Ascendancy trigger. So draw. And discard. There goes Battlefield Forge. And there's also the +1/+1 to everybody, too. Can't forget about that. So now he's going to tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up. So he's keeping track of how large these creatures are with the dice. Hard to do without it, I imagine.
One could argue Jessai Ascendancy is not the smoothest in design.
I think you could say that, yes. Looks like it might be time to come into the red zone here. He has to be careful, though. You saw he was going to attack with everybody, but then he could just die in the counterattack. Fabled Hero ain't no joke.
No, it's a lot of damage.
There's a Battlefield Forge. Now everybody's going to come into the red zone here. He's got the Defiant Strikes there on the Chrono Crusader to make sure that Ian knows just how big that is. Oh, those Laguna Bound Trailblazers aren't doing much else. I guess blocking is probably appropriate with those.
It's also
damage going to come through.
Laguna Bond Trailblazer mirror match 6-0 here.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Things we did not expect this weekend.
Would have lost that bet.
So the dice will all get removed because damage has been dealt. Schneider's going to untap. And can he kill Ivan is the question.
Well, keep in mind, if Ivan has a spell he can cast, he can untap his whole team and block.
Yep.
So it's not a guarantee. It's not guaranteed death.
Might be trying to set a trap. There's an attack. Oh, somebody's got a spell.
Oh, and if this is God's willing.
Oh, boy.
I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because even if something happens here, he still gets a chump blocker.
I mean, it is God's willing. He has to take one to cast it. There, of course, is a token. That's going to grow this from the Prowess trigger. He gets a draw and discard. That's going to untap all the creatures. He's going to put a die on everything because they're all bigger because of +1/+1. Something about smooth design, is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, every time you cast a non-creature spell, untap all your creatures and pump them and loot is not really the smoothest thing to resolve.
And now the Scry resolves on God's willing. He's going to leave that card on top.
Sure.
Now there is a safe block.
I gotta say, I don't know if this is the best build of the deck necessarily, but there is something completely busted going on with Ivan's deck.
There's something, yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't know if the numbers are right.
Yeah, screwing around with these caryatids and trying to win that way with all these moving parts. This is so streamlined. If he untaps, if he just draws random spells, he's going to kill Ian next turn.
Yep. Just the gears are turning.
Yeah, this is usually have a good sense of when something out of control is happening. That's what Ivan's doing right now.
There's another hero going to pass the turn back. Now don't forget, Ivan left the top card on top of his deck from the God's Willing Scry. So he's going to draw a card. I have no idea what this is. But he's going to reaching for mana right away. We're going to find out. It's a Dragon's Mantle. Oh, boy. So that's going to trigger Ascendancy. Going to trigger Heroic. Going to trigger Prowess. So first things first. Here's the Soldier token. There's the Prowess Resolution. Draw, discard. Looks like there goes the Seeker of the Way. And now the +1/+1. So that's what all the dice are for. That's going to move up as well. Now he gets to draw a card from Dragon's Mantle.
Nice.
I have a feeling this is another Dragon's Mantle. No, it's a rich. Oh, boy.
So now we're just infinite.
Oh, no. That's a Retraction Helix.
Because now he can go off with Spring Leaf Drum plus his...
Yep.
Or just attack for lethal. That's I mean, he doesn't have to go off, but, you know.
Discard.
Ivan is living in a world where there are no consequences.
Everyone's going to grow. We know how the Retraction Helix plus Dragon's Mantle combo works. You have Ascendancy in play. You just get to go infinite. And if Ivan wants to, he can demonstrate the loop. So, yeah, he's going to use Spring Leaf Drum. He says, pick this up, play this, demonstrate the loop. And Ian Schneider has seen enough. And I wouldn't want to play anymore either. Ivan Jen is up a game here over Ian Schneider. Jessai Heroic combo. up a game over Blue-White Heroic. We have a new deck in Standard, I think.
This is the real deal. Again, don't know if these are the right numbers, but what you just saw, to me, seems so much better than the 4-color build.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Take a look at the sideboards here. Blue-White Heroic side for Ian. He's got 4 copies of Stubborn Denial, 2 Suspension Field, 2 Hopeful Eidolon, 2 Glare of Heresy, 2 copies of Race, and then 3 copies of Singing Bellstrike. Get ways in your deck to kill Ascendancy, I think.
Yeah, the 2 copies of Race seem really nice. The rest of this, I guess, Glare of Heresy I can get behind too.
I mean, it's slow.
Yeah.
But it might just be necessary, because I feel like there are definitely turns with this deck where, if you're playing Jeskai Heroic combo, where you play the Ascendancy, pass, and then you untap and you do your thing. So you actually get a turn to kill it.
Yes.
Is what it seems like.
And I almost like the idea of Singing Bellstrike because these decks are so fast, but I would not want to bring that card in against a deck that's packing Jeskai Ascendancy.
Now, the big question here, I think, is, do you actually have that turn to do that? And are you supposed to board in cards that kill Jeskai Ascendancy? Because part of the appeal of this deck is that it can win without Ascendancy.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some other targets for an Erase, but I still feel like that game's an indicator of, even if Ivan wasn't able to completely go off, he would have won the game on the back of the Ascendancy. His draws were so much better, all his creatures were too huge. I think you need to fight over that card.
What's an Ivan sideboard?
3 copies of Chasm Stalker, a Disdainful Stroke, 2 Negate, 2 Seeker of the Way, 3 copies of Erase, 2 Magma Jets, and 2 copies of Ajani's Presence. I mean, I guess Magma Jet's fine, and maybe the Negates are okay, but I think that's a little too slow and cumbersome for the matchup. I would assume Negate is more for matchups where they have things like Enter the Gods or End Hostilities, not for just random decks with a bunch of enchantments and those sort of things.
This has always been the tough part with playing this deck. Some sort of Jeskai Ascendancy deck is, all right, how am I supposed to build the sideboard, and what am I supposed to sideboard in, and more importantly, what am I supposed to sideboard out? So hard.
It is challenging. Though, for this sort of deck, I think that Ivan can sort of keep his deck, the sort of structure of his deck, his primary game plan intact, because he can just win with his creatures, as opposed to other builds of Ascendancy combo where they have to have things like Savage Knuckleblade in the sideboard, because sometimes they have to get away from the combo altogether. They need a backup plan.
Well, while these players do shuffle up here for game number 2, we're going to talk about the rest of our 2014 Open Series schedule, Patrick. It is November 1st today. Happy Halloween. I hope everybody had fun and was safe yesterday. But we're almost to turkey time now.
We are very close. We are in Columbus next weekend, then Grand Prix DC the following weekend, Grand Prix Richmond, the Open in Richmond rather, and then the Open in Atlanta to round out November, and then we head to the Pacific Northwest for an Open in Portland, the Invitational in Seattle, and then the Players Championship in Roanoke to finish out the year.
It's going to be over before you know it.
I know.
2015 is going to be here. It just seems like yesterday we were in we were in Indy Week 1, excuse me. We were in Indy Week 1, Season 1. Owen Turtenwald beat Andrew Shrout in the finals.
And now, Andrew Shrout, part of the coverage team.
Yeah. And Owen Turtenwald's still really good at Magic.
Yeah.
That has
some
not
things
changed.
change and some things they do not.
That's it for 2014. 2015 Season 1 has already been announced. We'll talk about that later today. So if you guys are gearing up for that, we already are. Should be a lot of fun. I'm gearing up for this Jeskai Heroic combo deck. I'm a little scared. What I just saw should not happen in Standard, I think.
Yeah. Happened pretty fast. And did not need the Ascendancy to necessarily win the game.
Didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt.
Never does. Never does. One heck of a card there. Gonna see what happens here, though, that's for sure.
And again, this deck can just win with things like Favorite Hoplite and Monastery Swiftspear just beating down. Seeker of the Way plus all these cheap spells, that's going to be great against a lot of aggressive strategies.
See, that's the appeal, is that it can just be a normal deck. Because the other Ascendancy combo deck, we saw Li Shiqian try to board into creatures, Pelucranos and Savage Knuckleblade. And I don't know how much success he had with that at the Pro Tour. Of course, he made top 8, but you'd have to actually look at his matches to see if he ever kind of did the transformational sideboard. But this deck can just do it game 1.
It's indicative of the fact that the deck can't really get away from what it is, because so many slots in the deck are composed of things to combo out.
Well, it is a favorite hoplite to start things off here for Ian Schneider. And for Schneider, all you can do is be as quick as you can.
Yes.
Now, fortunately for him, he's playing a deck that can be very fast and can kill very quickly. You see Hero of Iroas going to come down. Favorite Hoplite going to come to the red zone. It's a Springleaf Drum. This is a favorite Hoplite. That's an Chrono Crusader. Pass the turn back. He's pretty quick too, though.
Talk about being fast, yeah.
Schneider does have a Trailblazer in his hand, but here's the problem with the Heroic deck. Sometimes it doesn't draw the right half. Maybe it draws all the creatures, none of the enablers, or vice versa.
It is a mix and match deck. The same thing is true of Ivan's deck as well. Only 16 creatures, which is a lot, but given that he needs a fair number of things to get anything going, maybe not as much as he would ideally like.
And Dragon Mantle to draw for the turn. You saw Laguna Bond Trailblazer come down for
Boom.
Mr. Schneider. Yeah, the big 0-4 in the house. So 4 mana available for Ivan this turn. Looks like he's going to make 3.
Oh, boy.
Could be Ascendancy time. Yeah. And Stubborn Denial can't take care of that. Though, I see something interesting here. This is just going to be a Stubborn Denial that says make you pay 1 more. And oddly enough, it looked like Ivan was going to cast a Dragon Mantle that turn, so he may have been able to just counter that instead, could have, Ian.
Yeah, I think Ivan's fine with it. You know, next turn he's going to have a lot of resources to work with. So I think he's happy to trade off a Stubborn Denial in this spot where he can just say, okay, well, that's my turn, but I got my Ascendancy into play, and then next turn I have 4 mana available to me, possibly more, and can start doing some really destructive stuff.
Yep. There's Nakui's form. Gonna trigger Heroic there. Gonna start by attacking. A little scry action. Of course, enchanted creature can't be blocked whenever it attacks. Scry 1 for a single blue mana. That's a Defiant Strike. Elevator's going up there. Draw a card. So if you're Ian, just try and deal as much as you possibly can without dying.
These decks are kind of a lot of the same enablers, a lot of the same cards, but this is checkers versus chess, these two decks. Ascendancy makes this an entirely different animal.
That's a Defiant Strike, going to target a Chrono Crusader. We have a couple triggers.
Don't be surprised if Ian dies this turn.
Yeah. Time to draw. This is the Ascendancy trigger.
So that's the second Springleaf Drum.
Now he's going to give all of his creatures +1/+1. Now he gets a draw from Defiant Strike. Chrono Crusader is what he found. There's a Dragon Mantle over there. He's going to use the drum to cast the mantle. It's going to target the Chrono Crusader. We've got a couple triggers here. First one's resolve the Heroic from the Crusader. There's your Soldier token. Now it's going to be time to draw and discard. Shivan Reef is what he's found. And discard a Crusader. Everybody's going to get +1/+1. And now everybody's going to untap.
And now we get to draw off the Dragon's Mantle.
Yep, and that's another Dragon's Mantle. Why don't we do it again? Have to take 1 to do it this time.
I think that he wants to tap I don't know which way. I would prefer to keep the Shivan Reef up, I think, to give him the draw of Retraction Helix.
Sure. Dragon Mantle. A couple of triggers. Soldier token. Draw. Didn't get a great look. Very quickly discard, I believe, a Jessai Ascendancy. No need for that.
So the Dragon Mantle, I believe, still has yet to resolve.
Yep, everybody's going to grow and untap, and then the Mantle's cantrip will resolve. Yep. You can tell he's been doing it all day.
There's a million things to keep track of here,
Yeah.
and it's really impressive that he's been able to do it thus far. Because this is not easy.
Looks like there's another spell to cast here. Oh, wait, a pretty healthy attack.
this is the thing. He might just be able. He's getting close to the point where just another spell might mean
Lethal.
Ian's chump blocking or just dead.
There's a drum. That'll trigger Ascendancy. So draw. Didn't get a great look. Discard Manic Influence. Everybody's going to grow. Take a look at the grip here. I think that might be that's a God's Willing. Guess you have to ask yourself, how much better is that, casting that versus just attacking?
Well, it means that he guarantees gets the largest thing through this turn if he wants to, which may be the difference between this being lethal or Ian being able to chump block out of the attack. So he has a drum available and the Ascendancy in play, so it's a freebie in terms of mana and attacks for him to cast the God's Willing now. And let's say he targets the Crone Crusader, well, now that gets to go through unchecked.
Yeah, it having pro-white. The white card you see on the Crone Crusader is a Resolve Defiant Strike.
Yes.
He has that there just so that he knows exactly how large it is. Now we're doing math. That's what's happening here. And you might have the W. God's Willing. And target the Crone Crusader. We can't forget, this gives him another token.
It's also worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage. I guess he gets 2 blocks, so it's another plus 4 points of damage this turn.
Now everybody's going to grow. That's why you see the dice tick up. But you can't forget that new token also gets +1/+1. Now everybody's going to untap. Hope we didn't forget to untap one of those guys. That would be bad news.
Yeah, he still gets to untap the token here. Yeah. So it looks like, I don't know if Ian's confirming, seeing if there's another land that's been played this turn or some such.
But everyone looks to be attacking here because you can't resolve part of the Ascendancy
It's
and not resolve all of it. So everybody is attacking now, including that one that he partially forgot to untap, but again, you can't resolve part of it.
So his best block allows him to save 10 points of damage, 12 points of damage. So that's 6, 7, 8, 12, 15, 16, 17, 8.
Is he short?
No, I think he has exactsies.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17, 18, 19.
Are you counting the Defiant Strike in all of this?
Nah, I missed it. That's 20, yeah. 6 from the Crusader.
Yeah.
Plus the 1 from the space.
Yeah,
So it's 8 on the Crusader.
right, exactly. 8 on the Crusader plus 8 on the dice is 16? No.
8 on the Crusader, 2. Yeah, this is lethal.
Yeah.
The reason it's lethal is we were counting 19, but he played a Shivan Reef, which lets him pump with the Dragon Mantle.
Oh, okay,
So
sure.
that's the exact last one. Because I got to 19 twice, and then he tapped that.
Right, the
took
Shivan
one.
Reef is the...
That's the 20th one. Hey, at least it's not complicated.
Holy crap. That deck is... That deck is really good.